Team Secret and Snow Tsunami. Looks like Snow banning out Vox immediately. Lyra going to be denied by Team Secret.
Yeah, big power plays right here, and that means Lance is going to be picked up right off the bat. We do have a Look at Me in here playing right now for Snow, and as far as Lance being played on this team, it's mostly played as a roamer, so I wouldn't expect this to be in a core position, and if it is, it would be a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, I think in Europe we're seeing less of the core Lance. In North America we're seeing more, and it started working better. So I'm going to be a little bit easier on the people who pick it this week. You know, yesterday I was still a little bit apprehensive. We're going to have Finn Glaive as the first rotation from Team Secret. Not picking up a carry here is quite interesting. Could Snow just go for like a, maybe even a Saw Sky?
Yeah, I mean, you could do that. I think with the Glaive pickup, we've seen so many Glaive Lance paired together. Is actually kind of a ban as well as a pick that they've gone ahead and done here, and it eliminates the threat of, for example, something like a Saw. Now, Araxi picks up the Kestrel. One of the things also to mention here, when Look at Me's playing on this team, Araxi goes to lane. When PT Lamb's in here, Araxi goes to jungle. So he's a very flexible player that can do quite a few things.
You know, it's interesting. I actually completely overlooked the Kestrel pick here, and I think that was foolish because Araxi has played an insane Kestrel, but hang on a second, is that an Adagio?
That is, I've never seen this hero. I haven't seen him in, yeah, of course, Adagio's coming out here, maybe gonna make a little bit of a comeback. I worry about the Adagio into the Finn Glaive, but, you know, this actually, the Adagio Kestrel is something that Secret kind of pioneered.
It really is, and it's interesting that they're using it here on Snow, given that Team Secret, they first unveiled it against Snow in the Winter Championships. Team Secret, they're going to round out their composition with Saw, so this is... All right, well, we're going to have to find out if it does work here for Snow Tsunami. This is our first game of the day between Snow Tsunami and Team Secret. We've got Sona and Jingyi on the casting desk.
Thank you very much, AJ and Humanist.
Earlier on in June, and the way it works is it's a very early game composition. You've got a lot of power coming out from Araxi.
Oh,
never
almost
mind.
burnt him down there with the Arcane Renew, but wasn't quite able to get enough damage down onto him, so does just escape after popping that potion. That was incredibly close. It would have been a great first blood for Team Snow.
Yeah, really nice coordinated there. As I was saying, they've got a lot of early game power. They've got a lot of poke damage coming out from both Araxi and Look at Me there with very long ranges. So they really should be trying to finish the game out early, be very aggressive, but not, again, overextend too much. And you kind of have the same thing coming out from Vainglory. He'll probably be going for a little bit of weapon damage earlier on and then switching to crystal power is what I would expect, but would not surprise me at all to be seeing a double weapon power composition coming out from Team Secret here.
I think I've always been known for this Soul composition as well. I mean, we talk about Snow liking the Adagio comp. Team Secret here, we used to see Majestic play that Soul all of the time, and they just played a really good push comp. Do you think they can bring out that sort of same meta again here today?
Yeah, I think so, and I think part of it's going to rely on a lot of good teamwork coming out from Mowgli and Palmatora. So you've got Palmatora with that early afterburn and Mowgli with the Quibble. So I think, especially once he reaches level 8, they can really use that to chain the stuns together and allow Vainglory to finish off with a roadie run. Is if he goes Crystal, again, if he does weapon, it's, you know, he's going to be able to ramp up the weapon damage very, very quickly. And it looks like we're going to be seeing Team Secret kind of walking away from Snow Tsunami there. Yeah.
In 118 as well, Saul was buffed ever so slightly. Just his wind-up, spin-up drops off instead of all dropping off at once. So drop off stack by stack by stack. That really helps out Saul because you can keep that attack speed up while still getting a bit of movement speed back. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Team Secret utilising that as they try to go for these fights. It allows you to reposition a lot more when you're trying to work around team fights.
Yeah, and you know, it does look like Saul's gonna be going weapon power for now. He's already got that 6 sins, so I think that's quite good because he is very strong early game. He can just he is so good at taking in those towers, especially as long as he doesn't get focused very quickly, which I think is going to be the target here for Araxi and Look at Me, is just to try and pin him down, catch him with the Siska's impale there, and just catch him out. Hopefully Vainglory, he's a pro at using that Saw. Hopefully we won't be seeing too much of that here, but I think these two teams are bringing out some very strong compositions here for this match already.
Two very strong teams as well. The Impale comes out, Cavalifar just dodges off towards the side, and the Roadie Run will get himself away towards safety. But we saw both these teams match up against each other in the finals of the Spring Championships. It was 3-1 in favor of Team Secret then, but you have to think that Snow have adapted, they've changed, it's now 119 as well, so they've got a vast new meta that they can explore and play here against Team Secret.
Both of these teams have been improving a lot. So, like you said, they met up in the Spring Championships. They were also in the Winter Championships together again in the finals. I think we've seen Tsunami really improve. You know, we've seen Look At Me bring out his petal, and I think we could expect to see that today because it's really proven to work out really well for them so far. Thing is with those two teams though, I think Team Secret usually take the advantage fairly early on and just kind of snowball with it. So whereas Tsunami tend to rely more on those comebacks later on in the later game, but because they've got an early game composition, I don't know how this is going to work out so far for them.
We are just starting to move from the early game into a more team fight oriented portion of the game. Let's have a look at the itemization builds across the board. It's going to be Crystal Power on Adagio. He's building up towards the alternating current. It's going to be a weapon power Kestrel. We have seen a few Crystal Power Kestrels, but I think weapon here works a lot better, especially when you've got a double weapon coming out against you.
Yeah, it allows her to use her active camo. She's got enough weapon damage to escape there. There was one weapon Kestrel ability I saw yesterday coming out from Ford Justice where they got the halcyon charges, giving her enough energy to escape. And that was a really nice twist on a Kestrel ability I've not seen before, but it looks like Mowgli's just going to walk right into Snow Tsunami there.
He is. He's going to take some damage. There's the Impale onto Palmatora. He can get Githyan Ward into that side, but with Cavalifar just around the corner, Snow Tsunami do not want to quite push too far. Suppressing Fire comes out, and Cavalifar, acting as the bodyguard for his team, just allows Palmatora and Mowgli to retreat to their jungle.
Yeah, and the thing about, we're kind of saying yesterday for all the games, yes, we saw a lot of double weapon coming out, and we weren't a big fan of it because as we got into the late game, you could see the other team kind of begin to counter that with a lot of armor, and it did begin to nullify the damage that was coming out because Pauldrons worked so well against weapon power. And I'm kind of concerned that this might happen to Team Secret today. We've already seen Palmatora and Cavalifar investing in quite a lot of weapon damage so far, and we're not seeing much action happening, and it's already reaching 6 minutes, and it's pretty even across the board so far.
Is there a spike for either of these two teams where they say, okay, now we can start fights? Like, oh, Team Secret waiting to get that Force Accord, waiting to get Cavalifar up to level 6 as well, so he's got those explosive shots. Like, is there a spike for them where they can say, okay, now we're going to fight that they're waiting for at the moment? And is that spike the Sorrow Blade that's just been picked up on Cavalifar?
I would have said Snow Tsunami had a very powerful early game spike because you have that Dash and Kestrel paired together. She can use her Agent of Wrath, and I'm surprised that they didn't take advantage of it more. We did see one potential gank, and it looks like Araxi's going to get caught out here.
Just goes down, really nice afterburn there by Palmatora to get himself into the fight and catches out Araxi. It's first blood across towards Team Secret.
Yeah, very nicely done. So actually Team Secret are the ones, I'm actually also surprised that Team Secret haven't been making more use of that afterburn so far. Palmatora is reaching level 7. He's quite close to that Sorrow Blade so far, or maybe about 300 gold behind there. They're going to be starting the gold mine. So I think they're beginning to draw a little bit ahead in the gold. It's so even right now, and I really think that once we get into the late game it's going to be very difficult to say. And it's surprising for me that Snow Tsunami haven't started building that much armor yet, considering that they are against a Saw who relies so much on his attack speed to kind of outdo that damage.
And the only armor they have is the light armor picked up on Sasiska. He's on that lance. Yesterday we saw a lot of Catherine coming out from him. Today decides on the lance instead. Doesn't work too well into Finn usually. Araxi gets taken very low. Palmatora with the Blood Song doing a huge amount of damage on that glaive. Just such a powerful hero, and Palmatora has always shown us how strong he is on that glaive.
I think once we get into the late game, Team Secret might have the upper hand in the fight, upper hand in those fights, because they've got Mowgli there with that the Force Accord, and you've got Palmatora with the afterburn. They can really reposition that Araxi, just punting him out the way, pulling him in, and they can really focus him down that way. So Araxi's going to have to be really careful with those blocks, and Sasiska should probably get a Crucible fairly early on, so you can at least block one of those two kind of stuns coming out from Team Secret there.
I think Crucible is really important, and then the reflex block, especially on Araxi, because Araxi needs to solo reflex block the afterburn. You can't rely on Crucible for an afterburn, but the Forced Accord is really what Sasiska needs that reflex block for their Crucible for, so he can keep his entire team safe. Mowgli, we've seen how many times he's played this Finn, and every time he does it, those Force Accords are absolutely on point. You really have to wonder whether Snow Tsunami are going to be able to face up against it, and once again, the Force Accord as I'm speaking about it. Araxi gets caught out. Palmator is going to knock him into the wall, but Sasiska with a good Githyan will keep his laner safe for now. But Araxi needs to be quicker on that Crucible. Pops it really late there and doesn't actually get anything out of it.
Yeah, I think, well, I'm surprised he didn't pick up the kill there onto Araxi. We saw Palmator kind of running into position there with the Afterburn, getting in a good position to kind of knock him back into the direction of Kvathar. That didn't actually happen and they weren't able to pick up the kill. I think he saw Sasiska and look at me and was like, I don't really want to fully engage in this, and just kind of backed off at that point. So Araxi there, you know, it does begin to really show how he's going to have to be a little bit more careful with his blocks, and especially once Mowgli gets that Clockwork, which he usually does, he's going to have that cooldown up so often, it's going to be very easy for Araxi to be caught out in the later stages of the games.
I love playing Finn into Lance because he's like, oh, I'll jump on you, I'll impale you, I'll give you. Oh wait, you haven't moved. Finn is just the ultimate troll in more ways than one.
Yeah, I mean, because he's immune to that impale and the Githyan wall. You know, he's just standing there like, yeah, I'm alright with this, and I think Mowgli's a really good
Oh,
character.
there's the Force Accord on to look at me. Mowgli snipes out one member of Team Snow Tsunami, and they're slowly getting melted away. One shot, one kill is going to hit Mowgli, and they will have to back away for now. Palmator positioning off towards the side. He's looking for the fight here. He afterburns in. Araxi's going to go down. Great little fight there from Team Secret. Mowgli baited them in. They pick up the kill. They're going to take the turret down as well, so Siska can't defend. And it's 3 kills and a turret for Team Snow. Secret, not Snow.
That was a really nice fight there coming up from Team Secret, so we saw them applying a lot of pressure there in the lane, and then we did see Mowgli, if you watch this position there, if you rewatched kind of that replay, was that he moved into position and blocked the one shot, one kill coming from Kvathar, keep him alive for just long enough. He took a few of those glimmer shots, looked a bit, you know, close to death there, but used his Polite Company just to keep him alive a little bit longer, and that was a beautiful afterburn coming out there from Palmator, and he's got so much weapon power now, he can really take out Araxi super fast, because Araxi only really does have that light armor there as defense.
Yeah, it's a slow build into defense here coming out from Snow Tsunami. We've got the coaster plates finished onto Sasiska, and let's look across the rest of the items in this game, because a Bonesaw has just been finished up on Kvathar.
Yeah, and the way that Bonesaw works is it applies kind of armor shreds per stack, per hit, and because Kvathar on that saw has so much attack speed, it's going to be really easy to shred that armor down, and it's really common to see in double weapon comps to see both of the weapon carries going for that Bonesaw relatively early, and it synergizes really well with Palmator as well because his Bloodsaw per hit, so they really need to be shredding that armor, and because, oh gosh.
Oh, look at me, he's not in a good position at all. He's going to get taken out by the Mad Cannon coming out from Kvathar. Araxi tries to active camo away, but he'll be suppressed for now. Excuse me, can you come back here? We have a tea party. It's Polite Company coming out from Mowgli, and they do pick up a second kill as well. 5 kills to 0. Team Secret showing their stuff on the Halcyon Fold at the moment as they're going to take another turret down.
Very elegantly executed from Team Secret. I've got to say, Araxi's reflex blocks just don't seem to be on point today. He seems to be a little bit too late there with all of them, just missing them every single time. If he just gets them a little bit earlier, you know, could save him a lot of bother and a lot of those deaths, because he's 0-3 and 0. Look at me and Araxi just getting the brunt of the damage coming out from Team Secret there. And Team Secret, they're being flawless in the execution of their moves most of the time. Actually, we're seeing the really nice chain stomps coming out from Palmator with those afterburns. It's really nicely done, and they're not really focusing Kvathar, which I'm a little bit surprised by, but that is because Mowgli has such a good front line there for them.
Look at this, the ward treads onto Araxi, he pops the reflex block, but they can just wait for that to go down. Kvathar doing a huge amount of damage from the backline. He's got that weapon infusion as well. Sasiska then out the target. A gorgeous Force Accord's going to catch out Look at Me as well. Afterburn onto Sasiska. He should not be able to get away from this one, but the fountain might keep him alive. He tries to impale his way away and will just about survive. Look at Me trying to put some damage back down onto Kvathar, but he'll be able to escape as well. Team Secret once again catch out a member of Snow and walk away with a kill in their favor.
And they're getting a turret outfit every single time, so they're really pushing for those early objectives here. So 12 minutes in, there were 2 turrets down, and I feel like Team Secret have control of that jungle. They're really beginning to claw ahead, and although if you look at the creep scores, it's relatively even across the board, they are getting those gold mines, they're getting those turrets, which is just letting them draw ahead in that gold, and they're now 4k gold ahead. But they need to keep the pressure up to try and close out the game, and as AJ and Human said earlier on, we saw them struggling a little bit to close out those games yesterday, and this is something that they need to be improving on today, because they are getting to that crucial point where it might be a little bit more difficult to close them out now.
Goldmine has been started, forced to caught on. Araxi in the Crucible is way too late. Araxi will try and retreat. Now Team Secret trying to chase down on this fight. They've still got the Gold Miner aggro. So Cisco walks forward. The Gold Mine's going to go down. One shot, one kill, not enough. And here comes the engage. War Treads, they're all going in. The root onto Cabalifar. Araxi jumps in as well, but Araxi is down. Palmatoro can chase him onto Cisco as well. They should be able to get the kill. The burst comes out, but look at me. It's stunned in place as Team Secret stun Team Snow here. They're going to pick up an ace. Only 13 minutes in, along with the gold mine. They can push for the turret. Cabalifar still full HP. They're going to be able to get another turret for their hardships, for their trials in this game. Team Secret dominant thus far against Snow Tsunami.
They may have lost Palmatoro, but they got the ace there and the turret, so that was exactly what they needed. I think they got the gold mine there as well, so that was a massive gold spike there for them. So the 6k ahead in gold, and we're really beginning to see them draw ahead in the gold now. We're seeing Mowgli with that, looking like he's going to be going for contraction with that cooldown, so that is going to be allowing him to have that force accord and quibble up more often. And we've been seeing him using it to really good effect, catching Araxi, catching Look At Me out every single time with those force accords. And because it is up so often, they can't reflex block every single one of them. And this is the problem that Team Snow really have to kind of be worrying, kind of be more careful about as they head into that 15-minute mark where the Kraken is going to spawn.
I'm just really not sure about the Adagio pick here from Snow Tsunami. I feel they've gone back to something they know well, but really doesn't work in the current meta and doesn't work against the team composition coming out here from Team Secret. Like, Adagio, he's really good in buff comps, but when you're running it with a Lance, it just doesn't tend to work as well, especially into a Finn who can just stand in front of your team and be like, well, you have to go through me anyway. He's getting called out time after time versus doing nothing because he can't survive. Good Crucible there to stop the force accord, but it's the first time we've actually seen it stopped. Mowgli's going to push forward here with Cabalifar as well, so Cisco takes a little bit of hurt, but Snow Tsunami should be able to retreat. I feel there were better picks than Adagio here. That was my point.
Yeah, and I've got to agree with you. I feel like although Adagio was a good pick at the start, they really didn't take advantage of it, and now we are heading to the late game. It's really not doing too much, because I do feel Adagio kind of tends to fall off a little bit more late game. He's very squishy, it's easier to take him down, and we've been seeing that happening quite consistently so far. And I've said this a few times already, I'm just surprised that they weren't more aggressive earlier on.
Definitely, and oh, force accord just not quite landing there across towards the side, but Araxi, the target, he gets knocked back with the afterburn. He pops the active camera. They're going to change targets onto Cisco, and now Araxi and Look At Me have the chance to do some damage, but look at the counterplay here coming out from Team Secret. There is no way to beat them. Look At Me tries to retreat, gets knocked back into the team. He's going to go down as well. The mad cannon from Cabalifar is enough, and Araxi, the final man standing, will not for long. 12 kills to 1 in favor of Team Secret as they look to finish off this game.
That's very nice. It looks like they're not going to be going for the Kraken here, just finishing off those two turrets. So it looks like they're not going to have any trouble finishing off closing out the game today. And I've got to say, if you look at the formation of Team Secret in the team fights, they're always standing in front of Cabalifar, blocking those glimmer shots, which actually could do a lot of damage to him, even with that cold plates. And that is going to be a very easy game for Team Secret now.
Team Secret take it 1-0, a dominant performance by them. They really showed their stuff, and I feel if you're Snow, you have to go back to the draft. You have to go back to the drawing board and wonder what you were thinking picking the Adagio in this meta. Wasn't able to protect the Kestrel, wasn't able to just jump on him and impale him, but it didn't work out for Snow this time. They do have 2 more games in this best of 3 to try and
They're going to go for a first pick and just completely lock it in here. I would probably expect to see the Glaive come out if it's not the Vox, either maybe Glaive or Taka. But either way, I wouldn't particularly like Sky, just first pick.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily that great as first pick, but I'm just wondering if maybe you could jungle the Vox, for example. We actually saw that be pretty popular for a while. It hasn't been in favor for some time, but, you know, okay, so it's going to be the Glaive. I think they don't like Vox as much for Team Secret. Like, Cabalifar just doesn't play it to the same extent.
Yeah, no they don't, but he's just in such a good place right now that even if you can play it to a semi-high level, it's going to do a lot for your team. But as I said, if it's not going to be the Vox, it's probably going to be that Glaive or the Taka coming out for Secret here. They prioritize the Glaive now. To come out Snow Tsunami, they pick up that Arden. So Siska actually has had pretty phenomenal games, and coupled up with the Vox, it'll do very well. They knew that if they left Vox open, it would be picked up, so you can expect that Secret know how they want to counter this. They're going to have that Glaive to get in there, deal with them. The Finn as well, which they know and love so much. And for what Cabalifar is going to pick up, he's going to need something from range. I would expect Kestrel, maybe a Celeste, and he could go with the Sky. Oh!
Okay, so Ringo is something that Kvalifar did used to play quite a lot back in autumn and winter. Obviously, it hasn't been as popular recently, but I think some of Kvalifar's best games have been on this hero. In fact, he's one of... Team Secret is one of the teams that actually funnels farm onto Ringo sometimes, where they give both the jungle and the lane farm. Krull is Snow's last pickup. How do you feel looking at these two combos?
Secret have early game in the bag. As far as
find out if that Arden and Krull can deal with the Glaive and Ringo in the early game. EU knows how to do it. Let's pass it on over to Sona and Jingyi.
Thank you very much, AJ and Humanist. Jingyi, they said it's definitely going to be double weapon, but I know you like your Crystal Ringos. You think Team Secret can crack it out this game, or do you think it's definitely going to be the double weapon?
Crystal Ringo is good, but he's very situational. I think the reason why he might be good in this situation is because of Araxi there on that Vox, and I have a feeling we will be seeing a Crystal Vox who can wreak a lot of damage, especially when there is, two melee heroes there on that Glaive and Finn. So the way that Crystal Ringo works is you try and annihilate them with crystal damage, and you can hopefully 1v1 there. And that should be the aim. Hit them with a Hellfire Brute and a Achilles shot, and a few more kind of shots with that twirling silver should take them down relatively fast. However, you do see a lot of Crystal Ringos that really don't quite hit the mark in those games. And I feel like if any team could execute it the way you kind of expect it to or want it to, it will be Team Secret.
Kvalifar's going to take a bit of hurt here from the Spectra Smite. Look at me try to position in that top bush. But Kvalifar already has a Crystal Bit. Started off with that, so have to think it's going to be the Crystal Ringo coming out here. He's going to try and hit them with his best shot. But will his best shot be enough? That's the question. Mowgli positioning down towards the bottom side here as all of Team Snow are in the lane in the early portion of this game.
Yeah, it's just adding so much pressure there under Kvalifar trying to shut him down early, and we can just see them doing again and succeeding. They've done it.
Really
yeah,
nicely done by them. Just snuck into that second bush, came out. You've got the Vanguard coming out from Sasiska. You've got the damage coming out from Look at Me, and they smote him down as he goes back to the fountain for the first time in the game.
Yeah, and what we're seeing is, we saw them just counter jungling there, we saw Palmatoro counter jungling there, and this is Sasiska and Look at Me doing it back, but
there's going to be a team fight. Look at Me's going to get caught out with the afterburn, and Team Secret pick up one kill. Sasiska now the target. He tries to jump away. Mowgli's going to chase a little bit. Kvalifar's decided that minions are more important than getting kills. He goes back to the lane to get that juicy farm.
Just wants to make those top 10 lists for farm. That's what he's really doing here, I think. I think Irakizora is number 1 right now. He just wants to beat him.
What's Irakizora at the moment? That's the big question.
He's like number 1 right now. It's like 9 point something CS per minute. It's incredible.
That is pretty incredible. He didn't have the best of games yesterday, though. He struggled quite a lot yesterday.
Yeah, Gangsters just weren't really bringing their A game yesterday. But looks like Team Secret are today. They've had a quite incredible run already there, and the first team fight there went pretty well there for Team Secret.
Team Secret need it as well. They were 3rd place last week, so they only got 6 points. Gangstar Cerberus, of course, getting knocked out yesterday in the first round, so Secret have the chance to eke their way back and get some more points in the second week of our 3-week split. This is where it begins to really count. First week you can let yourself off for making a few mistakes and perhaps not having the synergy that you'd like. But second and third week really is where the money starts to come into it. And Look at Me, he's going to try and jump onto Kvalifar once again. There is a massive Mowgli stopping them from being able to get in a good afterburn. Will knock Look at Me back. The Achilles shot comes out as well. But they should just back away from this. They'll be happy they kept Kvalifar alive. And Snow will rue a missed opportunity.
And we're seeing Look at Me just on that crow, just sitting in the jungle, not in the jungle, in the lane bush so much, trying to catch Kvalifar over and over again. And what's happening here with Palmatoro and Look at Me having a skirmish here in the jungle?
Look at Me just surfs his way away. It's like, surfs up, boys.
That's an amazing skin. I really love it. The effects are incredible. It's just so
I mean, they are absolutely amazing, and also so apt to the name of the team. They're Team Snow Tsunami. And
they're riding Tsunami.
Rides his way towards victory.
Look at him go.
Meow.
Yep.
Great.
He's not.
Of course, surfboard to make that sound. Yeah, he might not survive if Kvalifar does spot him out, which he doesn't. Arden's going to join him as well. They just try and take away these back camps if they can. Look at be able to sneak that one away.
I think this game might go a little bit better. I like the draft coming out from Snow Tsunami a lot more, especially with that Vox. Araxi used to be one of the best Ringos and Voxes, probably still is. And it looks like he's going to be going for that Crystal Vox. He just relies on teams just clumped together. And there's an afterburn.
Yeah, Araxi not in a good position. Palmatora came from behind and just was able to catch him out. Waited with the afterburn until Araxi had popped his boots and then was just like, yep, gonna chase you down and send you to an early glaive.
Yeah.
Exactly what Palmatora did.
I like that one. I approve of that one. That was a good one.
Thanks.
Well done. Yeah. You know, he couldn't get away from that one, even though he got the really early travel boots. I'm surprised he didn't go up to more damage, but it just wasn't quite enough having that extra mobility there, and you know, he still got caught out. But the thing with this Crystal Vox is he relies on the kind of Team Secret being clumped together, and especially when you've got a Finn there who is so slow, it's very easy to get those resonance bounces to bounce off all of Team Secret and hopefully hit Cave Alifar, which will be their principal target. However, the thing is, most teams who know how to counter a Crystal Vox knows that they have to spread out a little bit, just out of range of those resonance bounces, which can annihilate teams. We saw it last week there, when in a game in Mouse Sports in the semi-finals, where they just got absolutely wiped out by a Crystal Vox. Oh my gosh.
Too much Crystal going on in this lane.
It's just confusing me. I'm so confused now. What's happening?
It looks like Araxi's going to try and kill Cavalifar. He goes in. Resonance bounce is not quite enough. Cavalifar will just about escape. Araxi now on the back foot as Mowgli stands in front of his lane and says, Cavalifar, go back. I will defend the turret with my life. Although hopefully not. Palmatora will afterburn across the wall, be able to survive, and just farm up some minions in the lane.
They're doing a really good job of keeping Cavalifar alive for so long. You know, there's been so many times where he's just come down to the lowest amount of health, and thanks to Palmatora and Mowgli working together, they can help him escape there. And we just saw there as Cavalifar was teleporting, we saw Mowgli kind of like shift in a line in front of that, in the line between him and the bush there. So look at me, can't throw out his Hell's Heart there to catch him out. So that was really nicely done there by Mowgli.
Really good play by Mowgli. He's so strong on this spin as well. Great at acting as a frontline tank for his team and repositioning the enemies as well. Araxi, look at the damage from the Achilles shot. Takes about half his HP straight away. Mowgli's going to try and chase in. Does get the polite company. Hellfire Boost being popped onto Araxi, but he'll be able to survive with the extra help from Sasiska.
Yeah, and oh gosh, I think what they have noticed is that Sasiska used his Fountain of Renewal just to keep them alive and negate the burn damage coming up from Hellfire Brew. And at this point, you really do need to kind of consider that reflex block there for Snow Tsunami, because it's so important. That Hellfire Brew can do so much damage, and I think if he hadn't used that Fountain of Renewal, Araxi would have been forced to go back there.
Oh, Cavalifar's going to get caught out from Hell's Heart. Will he go down? He will in the backline. And this is a great little fight for Snow Tsunami. They can bounce those resonance stacks time and time again. Palmatora turns around. Great little play. They take down Araxi. Now Sasiska the target. The quibble comes out. Mowgli's going to run away. Palmatora should fall to look at me. And they'll accept a 2-for-1 trade as Team Secret retreat.
Well, look at me there. You know, I think out of EU and NA, EU has a strange love obsession with Cruel, and Look at Me is one of the top Cruels in EU, and I think he's really beginning to show his colours there. You know, 2-on-1, he's beginning to do well. He's got really good positioning in the game so far, always trying to catch Cave Alifar, which is what he should be doing. He needs to get onto Cave Alifar, apply those weakness stacks, and just kind of negate him from doing any damage there as a main damage outputter from Team Secret.
Really good play there by Snow as well. The funnel points are really strong for them. Cavalifar's going to take a bit of damage. Shiver Steel is on Look at Me as well, so he's got those slowing, stacking auto attacks. Mowgli the target. One Spectre Smite would be enough. And it's another kill for Look at Me. He's really showing his stuff on this Krull. And we've seen time and time again, if you can get a Krull ahead, you can really mitigate the enemy team's carries. That Crystal Power box is not... Crystal Power Bingo. You've got me doing it now. Crystal Power Bingo is not going to do too much if you've got all of the weakness stacks from Look at Me onto it. Palmatora trying to position off towards the side, so Sisiska's just going to jump onto him. The gold mine the target at the moment for Team Snow Tsunami, but here comes Cavalifar as well from Hell's Heart onto that Ringo, and here comes the Gaunt as well. Wait for it, is out. Cavalifar is the target. Look at Me trying to get onto the backline, and Cavalifar will go down. Does get the Hellfire Brew down before the end of the fight, and that means they can take down Look at Me as well. Araxi now not in the best of positions, but is going to try and fight against Team Secret. Across towards the side, he should be able to retreat up away from Palmatora and from Mowgli.
Yeah,
and the gold mine was not taken.
Yeah, I feel like Palmatora could have picked up the kill there if he had a little bit more energy, and I think that's why he was forced to back away, because Araxi was beginning to kite away. So I don't know if they're going to pick up the kill there yet. Ouch, and that force cord is going to miss. So no kill there for Team Secret that they were wanting.
Look at Me, if he builds correctly, can really start to put this Snow Tsunami team on his back. We saw yesterday, Asisa got miles ahead on a Krull. He was 5-2 and just went full weapon power. He built a Sorrow Blade, he built a Bone Saw, and it just didn't work out for them. What we need to see Look at Me doing is building a bit of tankiness, getting that shield so he can tank up Araxi as he tries to alternating current auto attack his way back. And if he can do that and stick on that Crystal Power Vox, then he can really carry this team.
Definitely, I think if anyone's going to do it, will be Look at Me. He's already beginning to build quite tank. He's already got a lot of tank there with that Shiver Steel there, a lot of health. He's got the shield there to kind of mitigate the damage coming out from Ringo. So what Ringo really needs to do is to focus on Araxi. But the thing is, I feel like maybe Cave Alphar isn't being as well protected by Palmator and Mowgli as I would like. They've done well so far, but we are seeing Cave Alphar being caught out by Look at Me a lot recently. And I mean, that might just come down to Cave Alphar's positioning himself. But Look at Me is just jumping straight onto him, applying those Shiver Steel. And Cave Alphar is just escaping, not really sometimes.
Yeah, once again, he's going to get taken out. He has got that reflex block up, but wasn't able to block out the From Hell's Heart stun coming out from Look at Me. So once again, we see that Crystal Power Ringo not really working out for Team Secret thus far. Forced to call on 3 members though, and Palmator is going to go for the fight. So he's going to target, but the bounty comes out, and they will just about survive. And it was a great force to core, but they just don't have the damage without their carry there in the lane.
Yeah, and I feel like that Force of Quarter could have been better if he just caught Araxi. They were all clumped up, so you know he pulled all 3 in. But I think that would really hurt Palmator because of the resonance bounces. We just saw Araxi applying the resonance and then he was using his Sonic Zoom, and it really killed Palmator there. So they had to back away from that. And I think that's the problem with Crystal Vox is that they just do so well in clumped up groups.
Nice, definitely Look at Me here. Gonna put some damage down onto Palmator. Cavalifar there as well. Gonna jump in. Hellfire Brew comes out. Here's the fight, and Look at Me low already. He might go down to the burn. He will just about fall. The gauntlet comes out. Palmator goes straight into it, but now Araxi all by himself on the side of this Team Secret lineup. They need to not group up because the resonance will be strong. Cavalifar is low. Araxi's gonna try and jump back on to that Ringo, but it's not gonna be enough. Team Secret pick up a couple of kills for themselves.
It's still very close, so 6-6, and the goal difference is 400 at 12 minutes, and I think we're heading to the mid-game now. I think we are really going to be seeing Crystal Power Vox hitting that power spike there as he gets more and more damage, especially once he gets that Broken Myth, or maybe an Eve. You will see him really doing a lot of work in those team fights, but however, Team Secret, they're doing quite well so far and kind of staying relatively spread out in some of the team fights and knowing when to disengage when they are getting a little bit hit by them.
Force the Cord used there to pull Sosiska into the team, but they decided they didn't want sausage for dinner, and they just retreated away. Look at Me, he's going to try and get onto Cavalifar, but with the turret still up and Mowgli there as well, acting as the defender. Oh, Mowgli again steps in front of the From Hell's Heart. The reflex block was used by Cavalifar, so that is a cooldown down, but teams though not able to get the engage off that they're looking for at the moment.
Yeah, they're not really looking to fight as well as Cave Alphar with not much energy or health, so they're just all they're having to do is just keep that tower well defended. And the problem is we are seeing Team Snow Tsunami doing a really good job of poking it down very slowly. And if you look at their tower's hardly being hit, and they're just applying so much pressure there to Cave Alphar on the lane over and over again. It's working so well for them.
Nice little bit of play, but Palmator to try and delay those minions in time for Cavalifar to come back. Turret does look like it's going to fall. Look at Me now needs to try and reposition Araxi off towards the side. He's going to try and Sonic Zoom away after Burn comes out, but Araxi is just about alive. Forced the cord on 3 though, and now Araxi's down. Look at Me, the target from Team Secret, and a good Polite Company will draw in 2 as well. Look at Me might be able to escape. He blocks the From Hell's Heart, and he should be able to get away across towards the bottom side of this map. Palmator is still chasing him. Decides just wants to buy himself a gift at the shop instead of getting the kill on towards that course. So Siska trying to defend the turret. It goes down from full HP to nothing. And Team Secret, although they were behind on turret damage, pick up a kill, pick up a turret for themselves, and now they are about 2,500 gold in the lead.
And they're doing quite well. I think one thing I'm quite concerned about is Cave Alphar's energy. He's only got that energy battery so far. We've seen quite a few times his energy does run really low, and at times when they could be picking fights, they can't because of the energy. And this is surprising for me because Cave Alphar is someone who's always been very good at the energy conservation on Ringo. So he's probably be looking to pick up some more, maybe a Clockwork, maybe even an Aftershock. But I would like to see a Halcyon Charges because that new item offers a lot of cooldown and a lot of energy regeneration.
And a lot of movement speed as well.
Exactly. Everything you want in a pair of boots. Or a crystal ring.
I think movement speed is incredibly important, especially when you're playing into such strong lineups. And we can see already Snow Tsunami are trying to get a 2v3 fight here, but Cavalifar off towards the side blocks out The damage coming down from Hell's Heart. Cavalifar will go down though. Araxi now the target. Mowgli's low. A great gauntlet that Araxi dodges out of. Now Mowgli gonna go down as well. Team Snow Tsunami clean up shop against Team Secret as they take down all 3 members for the ace.
Very clean fight there for Tsunami, really nicely done. And I think that kind of ace there does come down to Cavalfar's mispositioning. He wasn't in a really good position if he just stayed a little bit back just to put the Hellfire Brew on Araxi. He had vision, but he went really, really close and got hit by the Hell's Heart, and it was so easy for Araxi just to use that wait for it there and just take them all out really quickly. So I think if he just stayed a little bit further back, they might have been able to, well, not get the ace, but maybe a little better outcome there for Team Secret.
Not get absolutely rinsed in the fight, I think is what you're trying to say there. And the gold is equalized as well.
And this is what we saw a lot from Snow Tsunami yesterday. So we saw them playing Gangstar Cerberus. It looked like they were, not winning in the first game, and somehow were able to turn it around at the last part of the game. And this is something that I think we might be seeing again, especially once we do see Araxi getting those more powerful items. I think he will be going for another heavy crystal damage heavy item as his final item there. So that's going to be very difficult for Team Secret to try and handle.
How do Team Secret handle this? Because they've shown time after time that they can come from behind and they're very good at winning out these games, even though they might be at a disadvantage. Is there a strategy or a team fight that they can pick here that will really win them the fight, apart from perhaps just the Force Accord catching out one member of Snow?
Well, the thing is, last time we saw them playing against the Crystal Vox, we saw Palmatoro on that Krill, which was really good. All he had to do was pick a one. Oh, wow, that was great.
Araxi gets caught out, so Siska has to jump in. But even that is not enough. Now Araxi tanks the Hellfire Brew. The fight is on. Araxi very low. Gauntlet tried to be popped there by Siska, and they're going to keep chasing. There is the kill onto Araxi. Cavalifar does take them from Hell's Heart. Siska off towards the side is going to try and retreat away from this, but Palmatoro should be able to chase him down. Vanguard comes out and will slow down that glaive, but I do not see Sasiska getting away from this one with his life still intact. Stunned up by the Cribble, brought back by the Polite Company. Achilles shot comes in as well, and the kill will be picked up by Palmatoro. And as soon as I say they need a certain fight to get the fight and to take it out.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what they were doing. That engage was perfect. They were able to catch Araxi on his own with that Forced Accord. He was able to get away though. But then we saw the Hellfire Brew coming out from Ringo, really brought him down to low health. And I think what really changed that fight was Siska trying to throw down his gauntlet to protect Araxi, got stunned out of it. So that was a massive game changer there for Team Secret. They were really able to take advantage of it. Got the Kraken, took Siska and Araxi down, leaving Look At Me there, who really can't 1v3 in this situation, especially against Palmatoro and Cavalifar there.
I think a big thing about it as well is if you have that Force Accord, getting the Reflex Blocker or the Aegis at the moment, and then the Crucible as well, with the Afterburn, the Hellfire Brew gets its chance to do all of its damage across the members of the team. That burn damage really affected the fight because Araxi just couldn't get anywhere close to the fight. There's the Crucible. Now I expect to see an Afterburn in by Mowgli so that the Hellfire Brew can come out from Cavalifar in just a second before that Crucible is back up. I mean, it's only 18 seconds before Force Accord's up again as well, so he can keep going with these fights.
Yeah, and also what changed in the last fight was that the splash damage also hits the Siska and Look At Me, doing a lot of damage there as well. And what they should have done was maybe have the Crucible there or just spread out a little bit if they anticipated it coming. And actually right now is a really good chance for him to get that Hellfire Brew there to either Look At Me or
Force Accord. So Siska and Look At Me get caught out by the Force Accord. Look At Me trying to retreat. The Gauntlet's been popped, and here comes the fight. Wait for it, it's down. Hellfire Brew onto Look At Me. He's going to try and run away. He blocked the Afterburn, but Araxi and Sasiska need to retreat away from this fight. The Kraken's pounding away on their toes. Palmatoro caught out with the From Hell's Heart. He might go down here to Look At Me. He Afterburns away. Cavalifar going for the first turret. He'll take down one, but I don't think he's going to be able to get away from Look At Me. Mowgli is going to get taken out by Araxi. Look At Me gets taken out as well, and it's 2 kills down. 2 turrets taken by the Kraken, but Team Snow still alive in this game.
Oh dear, Mowgli doing a nice job 1v1ing Araxi though, I've got to say. That was pretty nice, but not enough as he went down. So that was a shame for poor Mowgli.
Poor Mowgli. He was the king of the swingers, but in the end, Araxi was his Tarzan, and Tarzan is stronger than Mowgli. That's the one thing you need to remember. Araxi took out the fight.
That is true, I've got to agree. No, I'm not sure. Never mind, I don't want to get into this.
No, Tarzan is definitely stronger than Mowgli. Tarzan is a fully grown man who wrestles with gorillas.
I'm sure if
and Mowgli got beaten up by a tiny snake. Like,
I'm sure if Mowgli grows up...
If you can't beat a snake...
I'm sure if Mowgli grows up, he can put a good fight there. I think it's unfair.
Yeah, maybe, but Mowgli's not grown up. That is my point. Mowgli's a child.
Okay. I see this is going to be a debate that's going to get us nowhere. Absolutely not.
Snow setting up for a cheeky little bit of play here. They own the jungle. They are the king of the swingers. They're going to jump onto Cavalifar, who puts missed position. Force Accord comes out, but they'll be very happy with that. Cavalifar has kited his way back. Palmatoro trying to retreat. Takes them from Hell's Heart. Here comes the Hellfire through, but I don't think it's going to be enough because it's blocked. Now Mowgli, the target from Team Snow, they're going to try and take down that River Troll. A gorgeous gauntlet across the wall gets the stun onto Cavalifar, and there is no escape for Mowgli. Team Snow take the ace. They're going to take the game, and they're going to force us into a game 3.
That was a beautiful gauntlet over the wall. They're just catching Cavalifar with the stun, and because he knew he already used his reflex block, and because there's no one else there to help him, that was such an easy kill. And I think this game is going to go the way of Snow Tsunami. It's looking so good for them right now after that wonderful team fight coming out from them.
Team Secret absolutely washed away there. They were devastated by Team Snow. It looked like they'd come back into it, but they weren't able to hold on for long. The crystal is the target. Palmatoro is up here. Cavalifar there as well. They're going to try and defend it, but I do not think they can hold off this Snow Tsunami. They take the crystal. It's 1-1 in this semi-final best of 3, and the next game is the deciding game in this matchup.
You would have not have known that the first game went so towards the way of Team Secret. You know, that was such a dominant game. This time was so much closer, such a different game that we're seeing. And I think one thing was that we really need to see some stickiness coming out from Palmatoro, because he really needed to get in a 1v1 situation with Araxi. He wasn't getting the opportunity because Araxi.
We saw it in the live championships for winter, spring. It's been a pretty consistent happening here. Seeing Snow ban out that Saw. They don't want Team Secret to pick it up again.
No, I don't think anyone really wants to be playing against a Secret Saw. Secret, though, they'll go ahead and leave Vox in the pool, and obviously Snow able to win games with this Vox, so pretty bold move to let it through. As far as countering this out, I'd expect them maybe to go ahead and just grab up that Finn again. Hey, why not? You got Mowgli on your team. He's going to do a great job repositioning them.
That said, last game I actually was relatively underwhelmed by Mowgli's Finn play. I thought there were a number of easy hooks that he did not get. Some poor coordination, you know, like...
Yeah, I mean, it can fall flat, but, you know, I would... It's his top hero, right? So go for it. In many instances, you're going to say, people can make the argument that Finn's actually not a good pick into Vox, and I understand that. But I think when you have an all-star Finn player, he's going to be able to position himself in a way and so that your team's not getting blown up. But I guess this last game really not a testament to that.
Are we going to have a repeat matchup here? I mean, Vox, Arden, they just need to round that out with... What did they play? They played Kroll, so they can pick Kroll here if they wanted to do the same thing again. Team Secret may well also...
If they... No, this is what I was thinking right here.
Okay, Sky.
Yeah, so you go ahead and pick this up right here. The thing is really cool is that both Kval and Palma have been playing Glaive and Sky in both positions, so they can do whatever they want.
From Team Secret, they think they need to change things up in order to beat Snow. Snow think, why change what's already working? We're going to go with the exact same comp as last game. Let's hear from Sona and Jingyi, see if they prefer this matchup at all, and find out who's going to win.
I don't want to predict who's going to win. We've had so many comebacks, so many throws, so many times where it's looked like one team is going to take it and then the other team rises from the grave and is able to take it out. But once again, we see Look At Me on that Krull. It's a Vox. It's probably going to be weapon power Vox, you have to think, along with the Arden coming out from Sasiska here. Cavalifar has taken Glaive into the lane, and we've got a Sky Jungle coming out from Palmatoro. Xinyi, how do you see this match going?
I'm not a big fan of Cavalifar on that Glaive in the lane, I've gotta say. I'm just kind of like, not feeling great about it, to be honest. I feel like he's just not as good as Palmatoro on that Glaive.
But Palmatoro's on the Sky now, although Cavalifar's really well known for his Sky play as well, so...
Exactly, I don't know what's happening.
It seems a little bit odd.
Yeah, I mean, they're both good, but I just feel like the other one is better on the other hero, if that makes more sense. But Glaive's very tanky in the lane. He should be able to withstand those hits a little bit more. But then he's melee, so he's going to be hit by those resonance bounces a little bit more easily. So I think it's just going to have to play it. I really like that Snow Tsunami are pulling out the same composition as last time with that Vox, Krull, and Arden. It did work really well for them. Especially Krull, he was doing a fantastic job with those from Hell's Heart. He was managing to hit Cavalifar every single time, and he wasn't able to block them. And Cavalifar is really well known for being able to land most of those reflex blocks. Reflex blocks? reflex blocks.
I think if you've ever seen Kirellifar in an event, he's got this little piano tile game he plays, and he hits about like 10 tiles a second, which is absolutely crazy. Like, I don't understand how his fingers can move as quickly as they do, but they're very impressive fingers, and a very impressive player of Vainglory as well. Siska and Look At Me will just join Araxi up here in the lane. I think Araxi really needs to show up this game. I've yet to look at him and be like, he's the standout performer for Team Snow, and I feel if you're playing into Kirellifar on this glaive, Look At Me gets caught out a little bit. But if you're playing into a glaive as a melee hero, you really need to try and force him out as much as you can playing on the Vox.
Yeah, and it's so easy to do that because glaive is melee. You can just use those resonance bounces, really take that damage down. And I've got to agree with you about Araxi. He really hasn't showed his A performance today or yesterday, actually. And I do wonder why they're not playing PT Lamb in the lane instead. And Siska, Look At Me, having a team fight.
Right, Look At Me does get the kill with the Spectral Smite, so Palmatoro not quite showing up on that sky just quite yet. Kirellifar and Mowgli will be able to take away the front camps here, but it's first blood across towards Team Snow Tsunami.
Yeah, and a very nice one. We saw Siska losing there to Mowgli, but Look At Me winning against Palmatoro, so Snow Tsunami are the ones to pick up the kill so far, and gotta say, it looks like I have a feeling the late game is definitely going to be favouring Snow Tsunami with that Vox, as long as Araxi. I think he does have to watch his positioning a little bit more. We do see him getting caught out quite frequently. We saw him getting caught out on that Kestrel, and again right now.
Yeah, speaking of getting caught out, he's got caught out in the worst way possible. Afterburn from Kirellifar knocks him back, gets the kill, and Team Secret quickly equalise the kill score here to 1-1.
Well, still very close though, and so Kirellifar, he's doing alright so far. He's managing to actually overtake Araxi in terms of creep score, 30 to 21 right now. It's pretty impressive, and you were not actually seeing him being bullied out of lane as much as you would be thinking so far, and he's actually doing a good job of keeping the lane pushed up, rotating down to join the rest of his team for those team fights in the jungle that we are seeing breaking out at that lane bush, at the shot bush quite regularly.
Something Team Secret do a lot. As soon as they get a tiny advantage or feel ahead in the game, they just try and deny everything from the enemy jungler. Snow Tsunami lose another member as Look At Me goes down, and Mowgli has already started up this minion mine as well. I think perhaps he doesn't want to take that one just quite yet, but Team Secret take away all of the jungle apart from those back camps and just denying everything they can here from Snow Tsunami.
Yeah, and I think they're just trying to shut down Crow relatively early. So this is a tactic that we saw quite frequently before, was that if you shut down a Crow really, really early on, you'll prevent him from being quite, getting those tank items, getting those defense items in the later game, and he wouldn't be as effective as he would be if he was allowed to be, if he was allowed to farm up, is what I'm trying to say there. They're rotating well. Kirellifar is going down, taking down Look At Me, getting a few camps out there for them, and is able to rotate back up into the lane because he is pushing it up every single time as well. So that's nicely done there by Team Secret.
Something we talked about yesterday as well is just utilising every advantage they can. They're so good at denying the enemy from anything that they want to take, and Secret show their synergy once again. Palmatoro is 6 now, so has that death from above. They're going to try and position up towards this lane. Look At Me's here as well though, so they have to be a little bit cautious in the way they approach this coming team fight.
Yeah, and hopefully if Kirellifar does get hit by those from Hell's Heart coming out from Look At Me, he should be able to use his Afterburn there just to escape back to safety and keep out of the range of Crow. So if that's what he's going to be using his Afterburn for, that should work quite effectively. But he's also in good position to kind of reposition him and kind of chain stun there with Mowgli, Kirellifar and Palmatoro, because all three of them do have stuns. Not all of them are easy to land though, however, and it's going to require quite a lot of coordination coming out from all of them to do this.
At the moment, Snow Tsunami have no vision anywhere really. Like, they've got a couple of scout traps around, but they don't have any flares in their inventory. They have no way of spotting Secret out. You look at the side of Team Secret, they can just go wherever they want to really in the enemy jungle because they know they can't be spotted out, and it's so easy to reposition with the majority of their members as well. Sky, you've got Suri Strike, you've got Afterburn. Mowgli's never going to be the one that's getting caught out, so they really don't worry too much about going for those aggressive jungle steals.
Yeah, and I think that's what's been working out so well for them. So Kirellifar, he's at Palmatoro, he's at 42 to Look At Me's 34. So not a massive difference considering how much they've been going in and taking camps. But it's enough so far. We're seeing him beginning to build up quite a lot of damage there, going for that Broken Myth first. And what he should be doing there is using his forward brush to stack up those hits and then go for Araxi, who should be his principal target there.
Look At at me's going to try and get onto Cavalifar, who will use that afterburn to get away, but now needs to be so scared in this lane. He has to stay back behind his turret, because otherwise he's just going to get from Hell's Heart straight to the face. And that's exactly what he does, just stays back. Palmator off towards the side is going to catch out Sasiska. But now look at me, he's going to try. Oh, he misses the from Hell's Heart. Can he catch up?
No.
He can! And the stun with the boomerang from Hell's Heart. They'll take down Palmatoro. For a second, I thought that they had lost it all, but he surfed his way onto that supersonic sky. And it shows surfboards more important than wings, you know?
Yeah,
Surfing is quicker than flight.
I think he really did manage to hit Palmasaur there at maximum range there, so Palmasaur could not do anything, and this Cavalifar and Mowgli were just too far away to actually help out there. But they are going to be fighting Sasiska there as a target.
Sasiska might go down here, but Cavalifar actually takes a lot of damage from Araxi, and he'll get caught out. Now look at me onto Mowgli. There's not really much Mowgli can do here. It's not going to be the ace because Palmasaur is back up, but a good set of 3 quick kills for Team Snap.
Yeah, so I think the problem there was they're focusing so much on Sasiska, who is the roamer. He's got a lot of defense there, and he also had that fountain waiting, and then it just very quickly turned there onto Cavalifar and Mowgli, and we saw all 3 members of Snow Tsunami grouping up together to try and finish those 2 off. And actually from this game, what we're seeing in this game is it does feel like Snow Tsunami are the ones with the early game, well, taking the early game advantage so far.
Exactly what they're doing, and we can see it across the items as well. Sorrow Blade already finished on that Vox. You've got the Aegis as a first item on Look At Me, so he's all about being able to get that reflex block down, get a bit of shield as well as he tries to chase out Palmatoro, and the Fountain finished onto Sasiska. On the other side of the board though, Broken Myth has been completed, as has a Sorrow Blade, along with the Fountain on Mowgli, so almost equal item spikes at the moment, but Team Snow ever so slightly in the lead.
Definitely does feel that way. So I like we're going for the Broken Myth first. I'm not sure if you're going for a Frostburn or Shatterglass later on, and we've been seeing a lot of skies going either way, because Frostburn offers a lot of utility in terms of the slow it provides, and it'll certainly be very effective there for Look At Me and preventing him from sticking on. But the Shatterglass will also be really good because it will kind of burst down Araxi faster, but this does depend on if they can focus onto him. And because Araxi is so mobile, and you do have Look At Me and Sasiska acting as a very effective front line there, it might not be the easiest job there for Team Secret getting onto him.
I think we have to remember how much both these teams want it as well. Like, Team Secret have won the last 3 live championships in a row. They don't want to go to the 3rd place playoff again. Like, they're in the 3rd place playoff last week. They don't want to be in that position again this week, and they need to take down Snow to get to the final. Snow, on the other hand, have been fighting up against Team Secret in all of those finals as well. Like, they really want to be able to take down their long-term rivals, especially, you look at me, he's built this organization from the ground up. He wants to show how good they are as a team and as an organization to the world by beating someone like Team Snow.
Yeah, exactly, and it feels like they have been the only team to take I think Snow Tsunami, there was one qualifier where they're the only team to take a series of Team Secret. I can't remember which, I think this was like the winter season or something, very far back, but Team Secret, they've had a very long track record of beating Snow Tsunami in these tournaments, and I feel like Snow Tsunami finally have a good foothold here. They're doing really well with their fights, and if they maintain the pressure that they had on Team Secret, I think they are in a very good chance of progressing into the finals today.
Most definitely, and if you have to wonder whether Cavalifar should have been given Sky and Palmatoro should have been given the Glaive here, because at the moment neither of them are looking incredibly impressive on their heroes, and we know that the other way around, they're the probably top 5 EU for both of their heroes. Like, Palmatoro is probably one of the best Glaives in Europe, and Cavalifar is definitely one of the best Skies in Europe. So I don't know why they've switched it round and gone for this little bit of a switcheroo inside their composition.
I definitely agree with you. Now, this is something we've seen TSM do, where we've seen Mixi, well, the previous TSM roster, where we saw Mixi and Call the Meek switching like heroes, that it felt like it wasn't working. And like you said, Cavalifar, he's a good Glaive, but not the best Glaive. And I'm just worried about when it comes down to those vital team fights, will he be able to react fast enough? Will he be able to make those plays on that Glaive that Palmatoro can pull off so well? And that's going to be a massive concern for me, especially when Snow Tsunami are playing a composition that they're very comfortable on, especially with Look At Me on that crew.
Once again, repositioning into this bush. Mowgli is the front line here, but Palmatoro, the target. They do go in. The forward barrage comes out. A good polite company, and now Look At Me has to retreat. Gauntlet comes down from Sasiska. Cavalifar is stunned up. He tried to jump in, but Snow Tsunami will accept that for now. They burn one ultimate. Force Accord was used as well. So it's both of the supports with ultimates. Wait for it was down as well in that fight. So they're just waiting on those cooldowns to come back up. They still have them from Hell's Heart. They can still try and catch out one of the Team Snow members. Palmator is still on full HP though, so he won't mind for now. Sasiska jumps on to Araxi. They're just defending this turret for the time being. And Team Secret decide they're not going to get much out of this. Try and take away some of the jungle. Nope, just back away for now.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to point out is that we are reaching the 12 minutes. We're getting close to that late game, and they are playing against a double weapon comp there with Look At Me and Araxi going for heavy weapon damage, and Araxi's already picked up that bone saw. However, we do see, if we look over on the side of Team Secret, that Cave Alphar there out of the 2 carries, there's only one with a little bit of armor, and I think they're really going to be having to invest a little bit more on those pauldrons or those metal jackets, just to try and do a little bit more, because otherwise they're going to be burst down really quickly by Araxi once you get into the late game.
Good quibble from Mowgli will stun up too, but Cavalifar on the retreat. Mowgli the target, wait for it, comes out now. Mowgli's gone down quite low, pops the Force Accord, but a good Crucible coming out from Sasiska will keep them alive for now. Once again, Look At Me tries to position in the bottom side of this bush, seeing if he can catch someone out. Palmator has to be the target. Cavalifar gets stunned up and they're going to go in. Cavalifar is dead before the fight even begins. Forward barrage comes out from Palmator and they will just accept the kill. Team Secret on the back foot once again. They're 5 kills to 2 down. They're defending their turret. Mowgli's low. Look At Me's going to go in onto Palmatoro, who will try and reposition with the Suri Strike in just a second. He might go down to the smite. Here it comes from Look At Me. Can he get it? He needs one more stack. Smite is not quite enough. And Mowgli gets taken out there. Araxi does get taken down in return. So it's a 1-for-1 trade, but they picked up Cavalifar earlier on. So Team Snow Tsunami do manage to pick up 2 kills in the overall team fight.
Yeah, did not think Palmator was going to get away there, and he was left alive with a small sliver of health. And I think what comes down to is we did see Team Secret starting off the engage with that Force Accord, and I've really got to compliment their Sasiska on his Crucible, because we've been seeing Mowgli playing Finn 3 games in a row so far, and he's been absolutely on point with those Crucibles, blocking them in those crucial points, because once he blocked them, they were able to fully engage and they were able to pull off much better, forcing Team Secret to kind of hide behind their turrets, and they were very easily able to pick 1 kill there up on Cave Alphar.
Oh, another Force Accord gets blocked. We're coming out from Sasiska. Well done by him. He's been on point with those. And at the moment, it might be curtains here for Team Secret in the 2nd week of the Evil 8 Split 1. We'll go down to the 3rd place playoff, of course, playing the loser of For Justice and SK. Cavalifar has tried to reposition off towards the side. A good stun onto Palmator. He's not going to be able to escape from this. The gauntlet comes down and catches Cavalifar as well. Mowgli tries to retreat towards his tower, but he's going to be deceased very soon as well. Look At Me gets taken out after burn. Cavalifar might be able to take out Araxi. Cavalifar playing big on this glaive, takes down 2. He might chase down to Sasiska, decides against it. There are 2 casualties of war as Cavalifar is able to pick up his first, well, 2 of his 3 kills of the game.
That was nicely done by Cavalifar, really catching them in the middle of the 2 turrets, and I feel like they were just stepped a little bit out, got a bit of the turret aggro there, and that really did help Cavalifar with picking up the kills there. And Araxi, we saw in those last few crucial seconds for him, was quite low of energy, didn't have enough energy to Sonic Zoom away, and that was quite important there for Cavalifar in picking up those 2 kills. So going a little bit better for Team Secret here, but they're still a little bit on the back foot there with 1k behind. Well, they're 500 gold behind in Snow Tsunami, so actually relatively close.
It's incredibly close, especially since there are 3 kills in it. Once again, Look At Me trying to position down towards the bottom side of this lane. Mowgli's not really the target you want to go down onto though. And Team Secret have started to buy those infusions. There's 1 on Cavalifar, there's 1 on Palmatoro. They're looking for a fight. Palmatoro, the target from Hell's Heart, has come down. Can Palmatoro reposition? Yes, he can. He survives. But ages, the forward barrage comes out, and Sasiska has to retreat. Look At Me as well, tries to surf his way towards victory. But a 3-man quibble spells the end. It's termination. Rest in peace, Team Snow, as Team Secret clean them up for the ace.
Excellent, nice there. I think they're finally evening up the scoreboard there, so it's now 8 in kills, and they are going to be looking to get the Kraken out of this, as well as the first heart going down to the hands of Palmatoro. And I think what was really important in the last team fight is if we watched Mowgli's positioning, we saw them trying to chase after Palmatoro, but that left Mowgli in a fantastic position to quibble all 3 members there. And because the base damage there on that quibble was quite high, did enough there, and was able to stun them in place, allowing Palmatoro to polish up those last kills. So that was excellently done there by Team Secret. Finally a team fight maybe very much going the way of them. Very nicely done there.
Yeah, and this is what we've seen from Team Secret time and time again. They come back from these what seem to be almost unwinnable positions. Now they've got double Atlas and they've got the coat of plates on Palmatoro, so that armor is stacking its way up. And Snow, they landed a great stun onto Palmatoro in that fight. It looked like they had the engage they wanted, but Palmatoro was able to survive for absolutely ages with the Atlas, with the Fountain. They get the turret, the Kraken pushing down now as well. And it's very difficult for Snow to get back into this fight. Cavalifar takes a bit of damage, but Araxi gets stunned up. They're going to go in with the Gauntlet. Palmatoro repositioning, the Kraken already pushing towards that turret. Cavalifar will after burn in. He's knocking Sasiska away, but now the Kraken's still on 2/3 HP as they push in towards the base of Team Snow. Cavalifar was like, do we want to go back, guys? Do we want to go back? Not quite yet. The infusions have been picked up for Snow, and they're looking for a fight. Cavalifar the target. He goes in, goes low. Palmatoro as well, so he strikes in, but look at me, he's going to get taken out first in this fight. He's gone. He's been obliterated. He's been taken down, and now the turret's the target. Team Secret are unstoppable, and they manage to clean up the fight once again. It's an 8 for them. The Kraken left alive. Now take this best of 3, 2-1 against Team Snow Tsunami.
What a lovely team fight there at the end. I did not expect the Kraken to be getting, what was that, like 5 turrets there coming from them at the very end. They were able to push the whole game there in those last 2 minutes. And I think if you looked at one of those team fights there, was we saw Palmatoro just consistently keeping those broken myth stacks, and they were in such a good position to push because Team Secret were all down relatively quickly, and those crystal infusions that they picked up at the end weren't able to do very much against Team Secret.